Hello again, welcome to another Scratch tutorial. So today we're going to learn about clones and its basic uses. So what is a clone? A clone is an exact copy of an object, except you can give it its own individual functions. So why do we need to learn about clones? Well, there are lots of uses for it, but for example, in a game with particle effects, you don't want to create 50 sprites for each individual particle. Instead, you'll create 50 clones of the same particle with only one sprite. That's very efficient in cloning. So let's create a clone. Add a one green flag as quick block, and then add create clone of myself. Now, if we drag this cat, see that there's another cat. Let's give it its own function. When I start as a clone, go to random position. So, now the clone will move, but the original cat will not. Now, let's create 5 cats. So before I click the green flag, pause the video and make a prediction. Okay, now let's click the green flag and see what happens. So if you're counting the cats, you can see that there's 6 of them. So the reason this is happening is because the original cat is still showing. If we hide it in the script and then add a show block to when I start as a clone, now there's only 5 cats. Yay! So now let's create a simple grid. So there will be 5 cats in each row, and there will be 3 columns, make a total of 15 cats. So the first step is to add another repeat block on top of the repeat 5 and drag the hide block to the bottom. So 3 times 5 is 15, but this won't work yet. So second step, remove go to random position because we want a neat grid. Now let's put original cat in the top left corner to save our coordinates. Now add those coordinate blocks to the top of the script. Now there will be 15 cats stacked on top of each other. So every time we create a clone, let's move by 90 pixels. Great, so now we have a first row, but the other 10 cats are hiding in the right edge because there's nowhere for them to grow. So now let's create one column. Now let's move to the next row. So after the row is finished, add another change y by, then we'll move negative 100 pixels. So it'll go down by 1 scratch cat. So now what will happen is it'll stay at the right edge, but it'll still go down. To fix this, let's drag out the set x2 block, and then set it to the original x position, negative 192. So now what will happen is we have a good grid. Hooray! Let's make this a bit more complicated. Create a new variable called clone ID and make it for this sprite only. So the way the clone ID variable will work is it'll give each clone its own ID. This one will have clone ID 1, this will have clone ID 2, and this will have 3, and so on. So let's set clone ID to 1 at the beginning, and change it by 1 every time we create a clone. So not everything looks the same, but now all of these clones will have its own ID. So why is this so important? Well, in more complicated games, we'll need mechanics like these in the future. So let's check to see if the clone ID works. So drag an if block to the when I start as a clone and create if clone ID equals 1, then say hello. So now only the first clone ID will say hello. We can see that the clone ID works. Let's add another one, just to make sure everything else works just fine. If clone ID equals 10, it'll say apple. Over here, it said apple. So this is great. We can see that the clones are working fine. So thank you for watching part 1. In part 2, we'll go to more complicated uses. Bye! Wait, don't leave yet! Click the subscribe button or this angry scratch cat will create 1,000,000 clones. You don't want to see it happen, do you? Wait, hold on, I'm gonna activate the script. It's gonna look fun. Oh wait, I forgot to make a clone script. No!